what I'm seeing as I start to talk to people more is that it's becoming a lot more challenging, and a lot of people are really having a tough time with like managing their schedules overall. They're having a tough time with being able to just like separate their work life from their personal life.
This is episode number 203 of the Life, Strength, and Health podcast. I'm Kim, and I'm joined with Jamal.
Greetings, everyone.
And
peace and blessing.
Yes, and thank you for joining us this week. In this episode, we're going to be talking about ways to preserve your sanity and get refocused during these days and times. But before we dive into this episode, I want to start off this episode saying thank you to all of our listeners that tune into our podcast, our Morning Motivation podcast, which is a daily podcast Monday through Friday, and our extended podcast that we pretty much release at least once or twice a month, I would say. I want to start out with a sense of gratitude because I just became aware of the areas that we're reaching with our podcast. And what I'm saying is we release our morning motivation episodes, and that is our new podcast series that we started doing about a few months ago. And we release daily doses of motivation to help you get your day started off right or have an empowering day. And we release those every Monday through Friday, and they're like a 3 to 4 minute episodes. So they're short and sweet, but we hope they're impactful for those who are listening to them. Now, because we're uploading more content, we had to upgrade our podcast hosting account. For those of you who are unaware of podcasting, you host your episodes kind of like you host your website, but there's a podcast hosting service. You upload your episodes and so on and so forth. And because we were releasing so much more content, we had to upgrade our account so that we can have space to release more episodes. And so by upgrading our account, it allowed us to get more access to more analytics regarding our show. Before we could see how many downloads that we were getting, but now we can see the regions and areas that people are listening to our show. And it was just such a pleasant surprise to see the reach and how far our show is getting out there. And it's a global show. You know, of course, we have a lot of downloads in the state of New Jersey, but we're pretty much being listened to in all the states in the U.S., in Canada, and Africa, and Europe, Australia, New Zealand, South America. So it was just such a pleasant surprise to see the reach that we're having. And we want to say thank you to each and every one of our listeners in the U.S. and all around the world, because we do this for you. And we never, when we set out on this path, you just want to put good information out. And if it reaches one person, that's impactful for us. But to see over time that the show has, how can I say, it's just getting out there more. We just want to say thank you, because you really don't have to listen to us, and we really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks so much. It's just cool to see. It's cool to just look and see people from all over the world. It's actually pretty incredible. And again, thank you for checking us out. And we will continue to try to provide you with useful information that hopefully you can use for transformation.
Yes. So now, before we dive into the show, I feel like this is a very powerful show, especially in these days and times when we are all, searching for a new normal. In that quest of searching for a new normal, there may be some obstacles and resistance that you may face. And we hope that this episode will help to find a solution for you so that you can just be at peace and be able to maneuver during the uncertainty, during the new normal, during the new way that our life is flowing, with the limitations of being out, with the social distancing and so on and so forth. So we made this episode for anyone out there who may be struggling at this time to find a sense of normalcy, to find a sense of having your days flow and be efficient and effective and at peace.
Yeah, I thought it was important to do not only this episode, but to continue to try to do episodes that you're going to find useful during this current crisis that we're dealing with. I know that this is uncharted territory, so we don't know what to do, and we're looking for answers, and we're looking for a better understanding of how to master the times that we live in. So we want to try to provide you with some tools that you can use to help you on this journey.
So what we're about to share is actually a part of a webinar that we recently had. And so we wanted to share it on the podcast because we feel that this information may be beneficial. And in this episode, Jamal mentions quite a few links and other sites that he was talking about during the training. And so all the links and things that he mentioned is going to be on the show notes page of this episode. And you can access the show notes page at lifestrengthandhealth.com/203. That's lifestrengthandhealth.com/203. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive into the episode.
All right. So I'm going to get started. Greetings, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I know that it was kind of a last minute thing. We just decided at the last minute to include everyone in on a conversation that we're having tonight. We will be providing the recording, and most likely we will convert this into a podcast. Just me tonight. Kim's not joining us. She will join us when we convert it to a podcast, but she couldn't make it tonight. We've been getting a lot of orders, so she's doing some shipments tonight. So this is just our continued effort to support you with this current crisis. If you didn't get a chance to check out the last two webinars and podcasts that we did related to the crisis, you can definitely check those out on our website under podcasts. And we're going to continue our effort to support you. Last time we were speaking about things from a nutritional level. Tonight is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to talk about some things outside of nutrition and get more into just lifestyle things. When I speak to clients, I'm getting a feel for how everyone is feeling and things that are going on. Anytime, if you have any questions, you can post them in the question and comment section. The chat is open, so you can definitely chat. Make sure you answer the poll questions. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, just some things that are going on, some things that maybe you can do to assist your process with everything that's going on. And then we'll take a break and do a quick Q&A. And then we're going to bring our special guest on for tonight to talk about fitness and overall wellness, just to do a little housekeeping. As far as our hours are concerned, we're still open Wednesday through Saturday, but our hours are different. We're doing virtual appointments online. We're currently not doing colon hydrotherapy body work or doing any in-office appointments. Every Saturday, we are open for pickup. So if you order products, if you order masks or anything like that, those will be available for pickup on Saturdays. And every Wednesday and Saturday, we are mailing out products. So if you need anything, as long as you let us know before Wednesday or Saturday, it will ship out on those specific days. We are offering KN95 masks, which offer at least 95% protection against COVID-19. The homemade masks only offer 10%, and those masks are geared toward preventing you from spreading it. So If you cough, if you sneeze, you talk, it prevents the droplets, but it doesn't necessarily protect you. It's like you're protecting others from you. So these particular masks, they do both. They protect you and they protect others as well. I think it's always good to at least have a couple on hand. So when you're in, really heavily populated areas, that's something that you can wear just to up your protection. So we do have those available. We also have hand sanitizers available for when you go out and you can't wash your hands. So we do have those things available. We also are offering different types of supplementation. There are certain supplements that you can take to keep your immunity as strong as possible. It doesn't, protect you 100%, supplementation. However, what they do is they raise your defenses, right? And they increase your chances of fighting things off. When you do fight something, if you were to get something, they shorten the amount of time that you're dealing with it. They decrease the symptoms that you get, and they give you a stronger fight. So I think that it is really important to take supplementation. In one of the previous webinars that we did, I gave an extensive list on some supplements that you can take. I got into, food selections, things that you need to stay away from. So we did speak about those things. And what we want to do is continue to support you on your journey. This coming Saturday, I'm going to be having a special guest on, and we're going to be getting into some mental things. We're going to get into a meditation. We're going to do a guided meditation to help you to recenter, to just clear your mind and release stress, and just get a chance to have a little self-care. So that should be on Saturday at 5:00. We're going to get into some meditation and guided meditation. So definitely stay tuned for that and sign up for that. An email should be going out for that tomorrow. So let's dive into this topic here. So in the beginning, I was talking to a lot of our clients, and a lot of people were, they were just a lot of people were concerned. They were taking it in stride. A lot of people seem to have a positive outlook on things, as far as, using this opportunity for the downtime, using this opportunity to take advantage of being home. And whether that be, trying to eat better, to exercise better, for family time and things like that. People that had to work from home, they looked at it as, a blessing and a luxury, in a sense, to be able to, not have to travel. And one of the things that I was definitely trying to do was to encourage people to, as tragic as it is, I don't want to take away from that, but, there's always an opportunity to turn negatives into positives. So it is very possible to go into a crisis and come out better on the other side. That is possible, right? And, a lot of times all we have is our perspective, how you choose to look at things. So I try to encourage people to look at it from that perspective, right? Like transform and transmute your negatives into positives. But what I'm seeing as I start to talk to people more is that it's becoming a lot more challenging, and a lot of people are really having a tough time with managing their schedules overall. They're having a tough time with being able to just separate their work life from their personal life, right? Because a lot of times when you go to work, right, you leave out, you go to work, you you work and then you come home and there's that level of separation. But now it seems like a lot of people, being that they're home and work is home, they have a tough time making that separation. So I'm finding that people are actually more stressed, and they're working longer hours. It seems like because this is all new for people and we didn't know how to adjust properly, there seems to be a lot of overcompensation. So a lot of people are saying that they have more, a bigger workload. They have more requirements at work. The children have more like schoolwork and things like that, right? So everyone is kind of piling it on. And, being that we're in crisis mode, you would think that it would be the opposite of that. You would think that things would slow down a little bit, right? Because we know that so much is going on. We know that the stress is so much. You would think that we would actually have less expectations. You think that, we would have a little bit less work. The children would have like less work and things like that. But it seems to be the total opposite. So what I would like to do is just try to, just suggest some things to help you to begin to make that separation. It looks like the country is starting to open up a bit, right? It looks like the country is starting to open up. It looks like things could be rolling out. I know that, in New Jersey, Murphy is supposed to reevaluate things on the 15th to see, what's going to be the next plan of action. I know in other states, the laws are a little bit different, but I know that people are looking to roll things out. But one thing that we know for sure is that this is going to be a slow process, especially if you're in North America, in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, like that whole area. I know we're going to move a little bit slower. But so things are going to be like this for a little bit longer, and we really don't know how long. So to preserve your sanity, right, and to help you to get refocused, I wanted to try to provide some suggestions to be able to help you with that process. Okay. So before I dive into some of my suggestions, I just want to see if we have any questions yet here. Okay. Don't have any questions yet. Just want to remind you to definitely, jump in the poll and make sure you answer that. All right. Okay. So a couple of things. One is, I think that it's important to put yourself on a schedule. That is really important because a lot of times it's easy for the lines to get blurred because, you're used to getting up at a certain time. So people are getting to bed on time. But the trend that I'm seeing is that, people are staying up a lot later now. And now they're actually waking up later and just allowing themselves just enough time to get ready for work. So we don't have that separation. So now it's like, we're working and sleeping and relaxing, but not having enough time for ourselves, right? So I think that it's important to try to use our time a little bit better. For example, usually you have a commute time and you have time that you need to get ready in the mornings, right? So let's say if you allow yourself 30 minutes to an hour for work, and then to get ready, you allow yourself 30 minutes to an hour to get ready in the morning. So that's 2 hours in the morning that you actually freed up for yourself. And it's easy to sleep during that time, right? It's very easy to do that. But what I recommend for you is to take some of that time for yourself. Take some of that time to practice some self-care or to just kind of do some things that you don't normally have time to do under regular circumstances. For example, meal prepping, right? To be able to take this time to cook something, to, prepare something for later, to get your lunch ready and things like that. So, you don't necessarily have to take that whole 2 hours, but you have that time now for yourself. So I would definitely recommend using that time. Like, don't start work early, right? Don't sleep in. Try to still get up and use that time for yourself. I think that can be very important and very impactful if you take these pockets of time back for yourself, because one of the things that a lot of people complain about is that they don't have the time to do things. So you can really capitalize on this time opportunity to be able to do more things for yourself. So I think it's important to create these boundaries, right? Everyone's job is different. Some people are requiring them to just kind of start their regular hours. They have their meetings and things like that, and then they work a regular day. And then some people just are working independently. I encourage you to create your hours, your time, so that you can, have those boundaries and set the time for yourself. Another thing that I think is important is lunch, like actually taking real lunch breaks, right? A lot of times when I talk to a lot of clients, people aren't taking lunches anymore. A lot of times when people go into the office, they're working through their lunch. They will sit and they'll eat. Right at their desk, right at their computers. I really encourage you to actually take a lunch. You're home now, right? So if you have the time to do it, I recommend that you actually take a lunch, like step away from your computers, step away from, your activities and literally take a lunch, like step away, sit down, eat something. Now that you're home, one thing that I recommend that is really powerful, and if you do this after about a week, you'll feel a really big difference, is actually going for like lunch time walks, right? So to be able to go out for, and it doesn't even have to be long, if you can go out for a 10 to 15 minute walk, like after lunch, you're doing a couple of things. One is you're breaking up your day, right? Because a lot of times, we're in the house, people are getting cabin fever. So to be able to break your day up and get outside, one, walking, it helps to stimulate digestion. So you're helping your digestion by doing that. Two, you're actually getting some fresh air, getting some oxygenating your system, which is important. Three, you're getting sunlight. Four, you're getting some moderate exercise in there as well, right? So huge stress management thing to just simply get out, go for a 10, 15 minute walk every single day at lunch, or to break your time up if you get breaks, to go outdoors, get a walk. Go for a walk. I think that's powerful. One of the things that they're recommending is that when people go outside and they walk, that they wear masks. I'm not going to advise against what, like the WHO and CDC. I'm not going to go against what they're recommending. However, I will say, use that at your discretion, right? If you're by yourself, if you're, in your yard or you're going for a walk and no one is around, there is some value in pulling that mask down and getting some real fresh air, right? We need to oxygenate our systems. When you stay inside too much, it actually weakens your immunity, right? So to get outside, get some fresh air, some good, clean oxygen, that is some value in that, and you'll feel better. Like trying to walk and just constantly staying in the mask while you're out, it actually will, because you're not getting good quality air and oxygen, actually will decrease that a little bit. So have those moments where you could at least put it down and, get some fresh air while you're outside. I think that that is very important, right? you could also take this time to get into your own forms of meditation and breathing exercises. There's an app called Insight Timer. And that's one of my favorite apps because it helps you with meditation, breathing exercises, and things like that. And it has like different instructors that can give these courses. And then you have these different sounds and chimes and things like that that you can set. So definitely check that out. Insight Timer. Another app that I really like is it's an app called Quibi. Not sure if you heard of Quibi before, but Quibi it's almost like it's like Netflix, but it's geared toward your phone. Two, it's designed like they have these short shows. The episodes are 10 minutes long, right? So it's these short bites. So if you get a 15-minute break or, you're having, lunch or something like that, you can throw on a 10-minute episode and within 10 minutes, you can get like a full arc episode, which I think is pretty, pretty cool, a pretty cool concept. So you can get a chance to watch a full arc episode within 10 minutes. I actually think it's pretty genius. I was watching an episode the other day. It was so good, I ended up binging on a couple of episodes, right? And we know what happens if you're on Netflix or something like that and you binge on episodes. Next thing you know, like hours could go by, right? So I binged on, 2-3 episodes and 10, 20, 30 minutes went by. And I watched a couple of episodes. So I think that it's called Quibi. I think that is a really good app to get because it's not like a huge distraction to take 10 minutes or 20 minutes to watch a short episode, and that like breaks up your day. So I think that that's really important. And also just making sure that you're practicing proper stress management. Right? Because one of the things that is happening is we're doing less things. A lot of times we don't realize just running errands and things like that, we're keeping the mind active and we're doing so many things. So now that we're not as active, we're sitting still more and we're with our thoughts more. So we're not doing as much. So it's really important that you make sure that you try to have your schedule full of things that's going to help you to manage your stress. I know it's not a lot that we can do, but you want to be creative and try to find things that you can do. If you have hobbies, right? This is the time to get into your hobbies, whether it's art, whether it's music, no matter what it is, you want to try to take the time to get into these things, right? And then there's a lot of people that are home and that aren't working. And I know all of you got like a lot of cabin fever and things like that. I want to get into some suggestions for you as well. But let's just take a look and see if we got some questions here. We do have a question that says, do you think that it is more the lack of accountability that causes the later nights and later mornings? Could this be when a new type of group can help with that? I think that that's a really great question, and I do think that is part of it, not having that accountability, because your schedule sometimes can be make you accountable, right? Like if you have to be to work by a certain time and you have to get up at a certain time, it's automatically going to cause a level of structure in your life. So I totally agree. And I do think that a new type of accountability group will be effective. I was actually thinking about something like that. So I'm going to give it some thought. If anyone has any suggestions on some type of accountability, idea, you can definitely post that, in the chat, and we could explore that. I agree. I was thinking of some things. One of the things that I was thinking about as far as accountability is concerned is, just getting people out on a basic level and just doing some walking. So creating almost like a virtual walking group where people will sign in, and they'll just kind of walk together, and you could chat, you could walk, you could kind of talk about some things, short walks, nothing big, but just like getting people out, getting people moving and active. That was kind of something that I was tossing around, as well as some other things. But if anyone has any suggestions on what type of accountability groups would be powerful, you could put that in there, and we could look into trying to make that happen together. Let me see if we have any other questions or comments. That's it so far. So hang on. Okay. So continuing on with some things that people can do that are, on your days off, or if you're currently not working, you could take some online classes. There are a lot of universities right now that are actually offering free classes. I know Harvard is offering quite a few free classes, so you can go take some classes with Harvard during this time, and you can boost your education overall. You can get into food prep, right? I know it's harder right now to get a lot of things, but you do have an opportunity to make more home cooked meals. A lot of times we talk about how we don't have the time, but now that we have the time, you want to use it, because a lot of people aren't. So I challenge you to start making more home cooked meals for yourself. I think that there's a lot of value in that. And then new hobbies as well. You can pick up new hobbies all the time. Like what have you been wanting to get into, but you haven't been able to, you haven't had the opportunity or the time? Like try a new hobby out. There's, whether it's, an instrument or art or anything, right? Online now, you can find anything. So you can pull some things up online, and you can take up a new hobby. You can get a friend or a family member, and that's something that you can do together. So I definitely encourage you to get into some new hobbies. Another thing is like setting up some virtual events, right? You could set some time up with your family, and you could jump on a Zoom meeting or Google Hangouts, and you could do some type of event together. One thing that is trending right now is movie nights, right? You can get a bunch of people together, and you could stream something right online, and you could, watch together and chat and things like that. I actually have a couple clients that they live alone. So I could only imagine how challenging it would be to have to live by yourself during these times. I know you can call, but if you're working from home in your home, I could see how that easily can get lonely. So I think that it's important to set these virtual things up for yourself, and just spending more time outdoors. Obviously, you want to maintain your social distance and things like that. But I know in New Jersey, the parks just opened back up. So, to go for a walk in the park or go for a hike or something like that, there's a lot of value in that. So I think that it's important to use tonight, use this moment as an opportunity to recalibrate, right? Let's recalibrate. Let's hit the reset button. If you haven't been on track, let's hit the reset button, and let's begin that process of getting back on track. Let's check the polls out and see what people are experiencing. So with the polls, the question was, how has your overall health been affected by the current crisis, right? So 36% said that their health has improved. I think that's great. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. 55% said that my health has stayed the same, which is it can be good or bad because if you were doing your thing and you were on point, then that's great that you're able to maintain it. But if your health wasn't the greatest and it wasn't where you wanted it to be, and you're not capitalizing on this, let's take this opportunity to capitalize on it differently. Let's take this extra time that we have to capitalize on this thing differently. And then we have 9% of the people that said that their health has taken a dip. And I think that that's completely understandable, right? If that is the case, don't beat yourself up, because we've never dealt with anything like this before in current times. And it's hitting close to home. You know, a lot of people are being affected, people that we know directly, or people that we are like kind of, we know people that are, that know them. So, so don't beat yourself up, but for those who, you know, you want to improve on your health, and those that have taken a dip, it's not too late. You still have an opportunity to make change, right? And we're going to try to do these webinars more often, at least once a week. I'm going to try to get someone on the show or have a discussion on some area that can help you, right? We already know the basics. We already know the washing the hands and, take the vitamin C and all of that good stuff. Like, we know that already. So hopefully you're doing those things. But there are other challenges that we're having that we need to capitalize on, right? So that's why I want to get into this particular topic today with our special guest, Ronnie Allen. I'm going to bring him on. Ronnie, are you there?
So that is the conclusion of this episode, where we discussed preserving your sanity and getting refocused. Hopefully you received value from this interview. And as I mentioned before, all the links and resources that was mentioned, you can access them on our show notes page, which is lifestrengthandhealth.com/203. And also Jamal had mentioned, one of the things he mentioned was the mask that we have available. In New Jersey, it is state law that we must wear a mask when going into any public place or a business or any public building. And for our own safety, we should wear them just around people who are not our family, that we're not living with. And one of the most effective and protective masks is the N95 or KN95 mask. And they provide 90% protection of spreading of the virus. Most masks that you wear, that you see, the homemade masks and things of that nature, they're better than nothing, but they're more so protecting other people and not yourself. It's protecting other people because it's stopping you from spreading any droplets or anything to them, but it's not really protecting you. And with the KN95 or the N95 mask, this mask does both. It protects you and it protects the other people. So these are the masks that we are currently selling, and the link for that will be in our show notes page at lifestrengthandhealth.com/203. So thank you for listening. If you're listening on our website, on a podcast player, on YouTube, please leave a thumbs up, rate and review the show, and share so we can get this message out to as many people as we can. Okay, so once again, thank you for listening. Stay tuned for part 2 of this webinar series, where we talk with Ronnie Allen about fitness and self-defense during this time. Okay, and I'll be releasing that this week as well. So stay tuned for that and for future episodes. And until next time, live healthier.
Stay healthy, everyone. Peace and blessings.